different kind of video today. I'm actually going to remove the engine from the snowblower. The snowblower is a 3.5 horsepower Craftsman 21-inch. It does start. I just want to remove the engine from it and find a use for it sometime later in the future. It's nice, but what my goal for today is to take the engine out, take the carburetor off, clean it because it's kind of dirty, and take the head off and clean the carbon off the piston. The tools you'll need, well, to take the cover off is a type of wrench, so I'm just using these vice grips and a Phillips head screwdriver. This is what it looks like up close. The first thing I want to do is remove this spark plug cover. Even though it's not necessary, I just like everything nice and neat over here. So I'm going to end up removing this cover, and then we'll go from. So there's a screw here, a screw here, and there's 3 on here, so there's a total of 6 on this front cover. There is a little thing in the back of it, but you don't need to worry about it because it stays in with the plastic. There's no nuts or anything, so. Oh, and by the way, I made a mistake. You actually need a flat head to do this job. You'll need a flat head and a Phillips head, so I'm just going to keep the Phillips head and get a flat head. So just a type of flat head like that will have you. So let's get started. And the screwing should all be the same size. So you don't need to worry about this. Make sure you keep them in a safe place. I will be getting gloves when we get to the dirty work. I'm just taking this. Alright, so I just got all those screws out here. So next we're going to take this spark plug cover off. Nothing's going to happen right here. This is basically just holding on this plastic too. So we're going to take this spark plug cover off, and it comes off like that. So basically it's on. It's on. Basically just slides off. Something like that. So inside there you can see we have access to the spark plug. We're not going to worry about that until we get the casing off first. So there are 4 flatheads. Notice that most of these are flatheads, and down there is Phillips, but just get these off here. And like I said before, they're all the same size. A way to keep track of your screws is just put them in this holder. That's a good way to keep track of them, so they don't get all scattered. So I'm just going to continue. So notice as you get to the end here, as you can see I removed those, you'll see a Phillips head screw. Now don't just go ripping that thing out, because on the other end of it, there actually is a nut on the other side. So put like that wrench that I said, put it there, and then just turn with your Phillips head screwdriver. So as you can see, I have my vice grip tight on there, and I'm going to take my Phillips head screwdriver and loosen it. Now before I begin, it's just this screw that's holding it on. You don't need to worry about this at this moment. So just worry about this top one first. A really good practice to keep all your stuff, your hardware together, is just put it back, and then screw it back in this way. You won't lose your screws. You don't need to go all the way in, just snug. So now we're going to go ahead and remove them on this side. Now I'm not going to show you in key detail how to do this one right here, because I showed you on the last one, so I'm going to get that one done, and we'll go from there. So now on the top here, that little hole, there's actually a Phillips head in there, and there's one here, followed by a nut there, and a nut there. So I'm not going to go through the whole process, because the screws are the same, but so I just got some gloves on. These are regular cleaning gloves. Before I begin though, this engine did work, but also I said I was going to remove the carburetor, remove the carbon off the piston. I'm also going to open up the drain, plug out a little underneath the crankshaft. Crankcase is a cover. Remove that, let the oil drip down. I'm going to refill it with some 2-stroke special oil just for that purpose, and go from there. Now, like I said, this is a working snowblower. I already have a snowblower, but I want to have some fun with this engine and maybe put it on something. That'll be a futurized video, but as of right now, our focus is to get this engine removed and then go from there. Alright, by the way, this is the worst part about this project, is it's removing this entire cover. What I start out by doing is removing this gas cap. This will interfere. I wasn't weak that time. Wasn't expecting to be that pain. Alright, so this should drop. So basically down in here there are some bolts. I'm not going to show the whole process because it's pretty much common sense. And down there is the nut, so I'm just going to remove those. Like I said, I'm not going to video it because it's pretty much just unbolting that and call it a day. So here's an update. I didn't get to removing anything yet because I had to add a few parts I didn't recognize what I needed. So you'll obviously need a ratchet, a long extension, well it can be any kind of extension. I'm just using this one for this purpose, and a 7/16 socket. This goes on. So like I said, keep it organized. Just screw them in like so and put them in your hardware container, as mine is this one right here. So I'm having a bit of a difficulty getting that one back there. The cover is actually kind of in the way, so here's an easy fix to that. You ratchet in, and ratchet, and have at it when you're ratcheting. So now that all those bolts are removed, I just want to fairly easy as one. Now we have access to the engine compartment. And by the way, I kept in my anger, and this came out as one whole piece. Not like my other snowblower that I had to cut and do all this crap to it. This one came out nice, so I have to thank Craftsman for that one. The last one I worked on, I had a fire hit for a while. So now we have access to the engine here. As you can see, it's not really that big. Also what I noticed is this flywheel here. I did read the owner's manual, and it did state that this comes in an electric start model. So what I think they did, they put the electric start flywheel in here, just so, but this is not an electric start. But otherwise, before we get into the awesome stuff, we have to first start disconnecting ignition ropes, that kind of stuff. Also, I do not know how I'm going to this out, without probably gonna have to cut this and do some modifications here. So let's start with the ignition. So in this case, I do want this ignition module here. So I'm gonna start by disconnecting this wire. Just slides off. Or at least it should, but it's kind of... Ouch, that kind of rusted in there. So, alright, so we got that ignition module off. I'm actually going to take all this off later on, but I just want to get the engine out here. And just disconnect all of our wires. So this is the wires. Here's our pull cord. I'm going to have to figure that out. Well, let's keep going. By the way, like I was saying, this little cover under here gives you access to the crank, which we're going to let all the old oil come out, because I'm not sure what year this is actually, but I can tell you right now it's not recent. So we're going to drain all the oil out, refill to what's needed. So you guys are probably wondering what's so wrong with this snowblower and whatnot. Actually, as you can see, this whole thing is rusted out, worn down. And I don't really want to replace it, because I already have a snowblower that works just fine. And I got this one for free. So, and I do want to make a video on some kind of something with an engine, or at least a two-stroke in this case. Have no ideas yet, but I will keep you posted on those ideas. So what I currently want to do right now is I want to remove the carburetor, and the only way, at least the easiest way, is I'm just going to take this whole entire shield off, which is held on by these two bolts. Ring a bell. Same. So I'll remove those, plain and easy. I don't think I need to show you that. Okay, we have all the screws removed. This choke thing right here might get in the way, so you're just going to have to go work around it. Obviously this is kind of hard with one hand, trying to figure out what this is caught up on. Okay, actually looks like I missed two bolts, or one bolt here, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. So that bolt is actually right here. So now I'm pretty sure that all these are removed. So what I have to do is probably bend this thing down. There we go. So now we're removed from that. And the shield should just off. There's like a half a screw that this thing is like right there. It's not even in there. Well, at least I thought we were 100% guaranteed there's no screw. It's not even like broken off. I think because this guard, I actually got lucky with this one. I just kind of pulled it off. I'm actually going to leave the carburetor on because that's not the main purpose of this. The main purpose is to get this engine out. So we got to start with all of our engine mounts things here. Now here's going to be the fun part right here. I do not have a flywheel puller, and just look at this screw. It's all rusted on there. So I don't know how I'm getting that off. And I'm gonna probably have to take this one off because this engine is mounted on with this thing here. Unless I can slide it out. Well, we'll figure something out. You'll be on video, right? So, let's just do that. This belt looks pretty good, actually. Few cracks, but looks pretty good. So I'm actually gonna put the gas cap on just to keep crap and stuff from getting in there. So what I'm actually gonna start by doing is removing these at least. Maybe I can slide the engine out that way. Hopefully, without having to remove any pulleys or anything here. So hopefully we get lucky. There's nothing on the other side of this, so it's straight through the block. Start by removing the muffler. You'll need a 7/16 socket. Basically, just so to make life easier here. Yeah. I'm actually seeing some carbon buildup on there, so I can tell you right now that this cylinder is probably pretty bad. Pop off. Yeah, this one has carbon on it too, so seems like something broke off. It seems like the spark shield. Yeah, that's what was sparking when I started this. So I'm just gonna start by just kind of putting these back in just so I don't lose these. I don't know if you can see those particles down there. So someone at the sim will get access to those before I start this again. Now we have the muffler removed. We're going to start by removing these fasteners here. What is there? 4 of them. Also, this fastener right here, just to warn you, is connected to the, looks like the thing that pushes the belt down to make the auger spin. There's our piston. So you'll need your extension again. You'll need a 1/2-inch socket. And yeah. Said they were scoring. The piston had some scoring marks on it. I'm not sure about the cylinder wall. That looked pretty good to me. Not fall out. I meant fall down. So you gotta kind of get some leverage on it. Kind of hit it. And then just put everything back. And like that. Alright, so like I said, this one has the pulley for it on it. So it actually went on like this. A couple fasteners there. Then there's that. We got a couple more. Seems like this handlebar right here has some fasteners in it to hold this part on here too. I'm hoping that the engine will just fall down without having me to remove any of this stuff right here. So hopefully I get lucky with that. So I was actually just shy of hitting this pole. Actually, I'm going on an angle here, but I was really close to having to take this screw off right there. You can't see it in the camera, but get this off. But I really couldn't find anything, but I'm just going to have to hold it with my hand. So that probably seems why this, it seems to give me trouble. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Other fasteners in to hold the engine up while I take that one out. Okay, I'm not going to tighten it all the way down. Now I'm going to release. Okay, that looks like the last one holding this engine on, supposedly, if we get lucky. Yeah, I do not have a good grip on it. It does look like I'm going to have to pull off this pulley, because I'm grabbing it right now. Yep, look at that. Now it slams down. Only thing on my way now is that pulley. So, we did get lucky in turn. This fit. Yes, it looks like it does. So I did kind of jack it up here, put this on it. Like I said, this is not how you would do it to something else. Alright, I have some new materials. I have this chisel, which I'm going to use as one of those pry bars. I have some WD-40. I might actually use a motor if this doesn't work. And I have a hammer, so hopefully these will break. Alright, so I have some new tools. I have WD-40 with no tip, which is purposely done. I have a chisel used as like that, and pry it up. And I have a hammer. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off with the WD-40. Now the reason why I don't have a tip on it is so, and yes you do get sprayed, just so it soaks in. Now let it soak in for a couple minutes. We're going to hammer it and see what happens. Now when you hammer it, make sure you support the engine, because I already have a feeling that for me trying to fight with that pulley, I think that bearing in the crankshaft, I think it's starting to, I don't know yet. So I'm going to try hammering it, supporting the engine, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I have my hammer, and if I can find my chisel that I just had, so I'm going to kind of have to lift the engine up, stick this underneath it, pry it up. Just hammer it there. So now what I did is I actually put a couple screws back in, nudge them up, and I'm going to try from there without the engine actually. So maybe what I did was to break it loose. I didn't quite yet get the pulley off, but I did break it loose. I just jammed this chisel in the flywheel. Now I know a lot of you are going to disagree with that. I don't really care. This ain't going to be anything anymore. I do have a bunch of flywheels, so I really do not care. And there is no damage. But I do not recommend if you're repairing this engine, if you're doing whatever with it, I do not recommend this method. So take your bolt, screw it like halfway in, not all the way, just so when this thing pops off. And what I think I'm going to do is just lower the engine. And then, well, actually first what I'm going to do is, this is not on the engine, it's on this holder that has housing here. So loosen. Oh, we're still attached. Yep, there we go. That's the best method I've used. Now, I don't know how well this works with flywheels, but I've used it with flywheels before. It's pretty good. The reason why I was saying I don't know how good it works with flywheels, I do it a little bit differently. Well, the same thing, except I don't use this goofy chisel here. So I hope you can see good. Basically, I know this is going to fall now. We got clearance here between this thing, now we have this. And I am going to put that muffler back on. I just took it off temporarily. So we're just going to loosen halfway just because all the weight's not on one fastener. Put one hand underneath it. And we're going to have to disconnect some fuel lines here. Now we're free on the engine here. So this engine is not 100% free. I still have to remove the pull starter. I have to remove the fuel line here. They're pretty much good. So we'll start by removing the fuel line. Actually, that should have been the first thing I did, along with the ignition, but I just removed that last. I don't know why. Probably just because I was just anxious to get this engine out of here. So let's remove our fuel. And by the way, I actually have this engine resting on an old toolbox here. On this fuel line, there's actually a hose clamp. So what I'm going to do is get a flathead and remove that. Pulls off. And then I think this is a fuel filter, but otherwise I think we're disconnected right now. So I have the engine horizontal now, resting on this blue thing sideways. So what I'm going to do is actually just remove the recoil. But we'll just have to do with that. Here's my parts thing. You can tell we actually built a lot of stuff up in here. Now I do not want to take the shroud off, I just want to take this recoil horizontal. Vertical. Right there, let's see if this pops off. Oops, we're missing one. Stroke. So here we go. Slide the engine out. What else we connect to? Oh yeah, we are connected to our primer bulb. Now I'm really not worried about the primer because this has a choke, but this line should just pull off. Yes, it does. So now we are 100% disconnected with the engine. Now we have to worry about this rope later on. So here's the engine fully taken out. finally. This engine actually sat like this in the snowblower. As you can remember pictures from before, we had our axis here. So this carburetor is pretty dirty. I thought we usually have air filters. This one doesn't seem to have them. These head bolts are actually star keys, which I don't have, so we're going to see if we can stick some kind of flathead or something in there to break those loose. I also want to take the spark plug out, and here's another, there's a crank cover there. Right now, let's see. What I actually want to do is remove this fuel line because it's kind of in my way. And actually I'm probably going to do the, I might do the carburetor one, or I might make a part 2, I'm not sure. And I will definitely drain the oil, take the head off, clean the carbon. Actually, I think I will. Choke works. Do the carburetor too. It looks clean on the outside, but, I'm sorry, it looks dirty on the outside, as you could tell, and it looks clean on the inside. I still want to clean it. In this case, you're supposed to use needle nose pliers. I'm using these because they're springy. And they're probably just like needle nose pliers, that they don't look like them, but they work, they do the job. So pinch these, pretty much everyone knows how to remove gas line. I'm going to end up putting one of these on. Here we have this thing turns. Trying to get it off here. Oh yeah, I never do that. Stuff it under there. At least it's better than what it was. Probably gonna put some silicone or something on there. I'm cleaning the carburetor. Might have to rebuild it, not sure. But I just wanted that out of my way. I do not think I'm pulling the flywheel, but I may have to pull a shroud. Yes, I'm definitely gonna have to pull a shroud. Alright, so I restocked it like I said, but this one, the one I have, this one's too small. So we gotta go oversized. I am not sure what size this one is. It's a little bit bigger, but what we're gonna do, make sure this is in reverse. Yep. We're actually gonna put pressure downwards on it. I tried these. Really kind of hard to turn, so I'm gonna spray some WD-40 in there. Hopefully that spark plug is not seized in there. So here's my WD-40. I do stuff for a reason. Why I have no cap. But anyways, just kind of. Mini screwdriver, I'm just gonna push on it. Yes, I think the WD-40 did eat my gloves. Right through. A little tighter. Feels like it's like seized in there. There we go, finally break it loose. Interesting. Yeah, it is kind of hard to see in the camera, but it is wet. Mold or something inside. It's kind of hard to see. A ladder does come handy in a way, because I just stick spark plugs and other things in there. Fits perfect. So I'm going to see if I can get a flathead and just get through as I showed you earlier. Actually, before I do that, I have to take the shroud off. We're actually using a 3/8 in my handy dandy extension, which is not needed. I'm just using it because I'm in love with extensions. It looks like this crank cover too is shroud bolts, oops, all the shroud bolts I'm putting, or I'm using, I'm just putting right there so I know to go. So I keep note of this one right here because it does have some grounds or something, or it sometimes does get flooded. I think this shroud should. It does look rusted, but it does work. What I'm noticing. You hear that? Let's listen again. This does need to be adjusted because it is kind of scraping. See if you could get something in there, turn it, get the head off, scrape everything. Then we're going to go for the carburetor. Take it off, clean it. Probably not going to run it today, probably not going to run it for a long time. So that obviously won't be on this video, but I will come back with future projects on this motor, so don't worry. So here's an update. This Allen key does work. So now we're just going to have to somehow stick it in like this. Got my tools on the floor.